I just hit 40 on my Shaman last night, and honestly, I stayed up a little bit too late doing Scarlet Monastery Cathedral runs. I was just doing a bong rip and then a run, bong rip and then a run. Every time I finished a run, I would get really, really high. And honestly, at the end of it, I was probably incoherently high. I had a few people in the chat say, I think he's just mumbling now. But look, I did mostly dungeons, and I have learned in this time that Shaman tanks are cracked. Now, I don't have a ton of experience with other tanks because I was the one tanking the dungeon. There was a little stint where I was running double mage. We had a warlock tank, me tanking on my Shaman and a healer, and we were blasting through armory. But most of the groups I'd see in LFG say, looking for Shaman tank, looking for Shaman tank. I didn't see looking for Druid tank. I didn't see looking for warrior tank. I didn't even see looking for warlock tank. A lot of people spamming looking for Shaman tank. I was getting instant invites. And honestly, any group that didn't have a mage in it, I was the #1 on damage. Like, it's literally crazy. Like, you get a mage and he's doing triple my damage, but if there's no mage in the group, the Shaman's on top. Now, it could have just been my experience, but I joined a handful of different pugs, especially last night. I was trying to find cathedral groups. I think especially around 40, mages can just solo it. Like, there weren't that many mage groups looking for cathedral. I was finding them around 36 looking for armory and library and stuff like that. But closer to 40, there weren't as many mages looking for a group for cathedral. And the few mages I was in a group with, it really looked like they could solo it. I was just there for fun. But any group without a mage, I was #1 on damage. And I think the trick is, if you're playing a Shaman, like pulling 4 to 8 mobs, anything after that, you just don't do too much damage on. Your dang old Molten Blast only hits 4 targets. And Fire Nova does a good job, but at a certain point, it's getting ridiculous. I guess it depends on your level. But any pack I was pulling between 4 and 8 mobs, I was doing 250, 300 DPS sometimes. You get a nice Fire Nova totem in there. I don't even have all the runes. I need to pick up the Maelstrom rune. I need to pick up the Fire Nova rune. I think that would really help out with AoE. But I was rocking the Power Surge rune. Every now and then I'd get like a free instant cast chain lightning. That wasn't really doing too much. It's really all about Molten Blast and Fire Nova and squeezing in Magma Totems in there if you can. But like almost every run, if I'm pulling 3 mobs, 6 mobs, 8 mobs, I'm just crushing all the damage. And it makes me wonder, like, are mages the only ones that do DPS? I think Blizzard knew that people were going to be doing a lot of dungeon spamming, and they're a little bit more powerful than before, so the pulls are obviously going to be bigger. But it sucks that I can only hit 4 targets with my Molten Blast. I want to do as much as a mage. Mages do so much damage that even when I'm crushing it, even when I'm getting like a perfect pull and I'm dumpstering as much damage as I can, the mage is going to do quadruple my DPS and still pull aggro. It's actually insane. So if you're like, hey, yo, I want to do damage, roll a mage. The single target damage isn't that crazy. It's going to be a little bit different going into the raid. Like I said, I just hit 40. The pulls are going to be different in the raid, so I'm not really expecting mages to be on top, especially for boss fights. Honestly, I was seeing the rogues, hunters do a lot of damage. The melee hunters, bro, drop Wind Fury for them, let them go. And the boomkins, bro. I saw a couple of balance druids, and their single target damage was crazy. This one guy I was in a group with just kept pulling single mobs, and I was getting mad at him. But like, it'd be at 25% health in like 3 seconds. So I'm like, it's not really that big of a deal. So if you're playing a Shaman and you're trying to level up, just get a couple of the tanking runes and go do dungeons. You're gonna get instant invites. You can make the groups if you want. I was running Armory over and over again, which has a few drops for a Shaman in there. And I was just making the group, handpicking players that didn't need the mail, didn't need the Ravager Axe. I never got the Ravager. I ran Armory like 25 times. I didn't get the Ravager. I got every other piece. Bro, the shoulders and the helmet dropped 100 times. I don't need a helmet that bad. I got one already. Drop another one, please. And I'm a little salty. I ran Cathedral. I rolled on Mograin's Mine, I think it's called, the 2-hander. And then one person was AFK. I hit need roll and I left the dungeon. The roll never finished. I reset and everything. I'm like, where's that? Bro, I rolled need on it. Where? It's not in my bags. Where is it at? It never looted it to me. What happened? Is it not in my bag? No way, dude. Can't even scroll up in the chat log and see. So look, always, even if it's for off spec and stuff, make sure it hits your bags before you zone out of the dungeon. I usually do, but I forgot, bro. I was speed running. We're doing Cathedral over and over again. I forgot. Anyway, if you're playing a tank of another class, let me know how it's going. I literally haven't heard from anybody. I haven't seen anybody looking for warrior tanks or druid tanks. I've heard my group say say, oh, thank God a shaman tank. I was in a group with a warlock tank or a warrior tank and it was a disaster. So I don't know what the deal is. Are shamans on top right now? Does every group just need to have a shaman tank and a few mages in it for dungeons? Now, I might make a little shaman tanking guide. Leave me a comment. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in watching. But I just hit 40. I got to see if I can get enough gold for my mount. I genuinely thought I was going to have enough gold. I think I'm like 20 gold shy of getting the mount and the training. So I'm going to try to figure that out so I can go get these last couple of runes I don't have. But come get high with me on Twitch. Maybe you can join me for a Noma raid this weekend. See you on Twitch and have a lit day, my dudes.